Hey guys, last week the DLC for Resident Evil 4 was released. It is called Separate Ways and you play as Ada. It runs in parallel to Leon's story in Resident Evil 4 and acts as a great supplement to the main story as you see Leon's adventure from a different perspective, and there are some mysterious moments from Leon's story that you realise here Ada played a part in. The DLC costs £7 here in the UK and it costs $10 in the USA. My first playthrough took me 7 hours and 16 minutes, and with some complicated maths we come to £1 per hour of gameplay. I will be playing it a few times more for trophies, so in terms of value and replayability I think it is a very good price. On to the gameplay. The game is a really good length. There are 7 chapters in total and I think it represents about a third of the main game in terms of length. The biggest difference between Leon and Ada is that Ada has a grappling gun, which she uses to reach higher points and also as a melee weapon. If you stun an enemy far away from you, you will get the option to grapple to them with a flying kick. The merchant and weapon upgrades is back in this DLC, which is brilliant as it adds a whole new dimension to the game. Ada starts with the Blacktail pistol and TMP from the main game and gains more weapons as the story progresses, including one which is not in the main story. You do collect treasures as well, and just like the main game you will have to decide which upgrades you want to prioritize. There are also merchant requests which give you spinels which you can then trade for more unique items. As for the story, I found that the story is really engaging. One thing I absolutely loved is that you are in the same areas that Leon was in the main game, but you can access different areas of the same setting. Thanks to Ada's grapple gun, there is now a verticality to the levels as you can get higher than Leon ever could, so you get to play older levels and maps but from a totally different perspective. You will also enter certain buildings and locations from a totally different door as Leon, and as a Resident Evil 4 fanboy, it just made it so interesting and fresh. Ada has a brilliant character arc, and you see her at times struggling with the motives behind the mission she is carrying out, and her relationship with Leon is fleshed out more as we see her perspective. One big part of the story is Albert Wexler. Now sadly I've not played Resident Evil 1 or 5, and I know that Albert Wexler is a big part of the entire lore, and seeing him in this DLC in the cutscenes and playing a big part encourages me to think that Capcom will remake Resident Evil 5 at least, as they have a huge character already remade and ready to use in Albert Wexler, and his importance to this DLC plus the appearance in the main game of Resident Evil 4 makes me think surely they are leading to more remakes, which is good news. My only disappointment is the trophies. There are 7 in total and they are really basic ones such as boss battles and then complete the game on all difficulties. Having played it now, I think this DLC could have had 10 to 15 trophies and it would have added another dimension to it, but not everyone cares about the trophies, so this is not a huge point. All in all, I'm really happy with this DLC. I don't normally buy DLC content, to be honest, and it takes a lot for me to do that. And this one really stood out as I love Resident Evil 4. It is my game of the year so far. I think this DLC is a fine example of what a DLC should be. It supplements the main game perfectly, adding new story dimensions, a few small gameplay changes whilst maintaining the overall tone, feel and fun of the main game, which is a perfect mix for me. I finished the game on one playthrough on standard difficulty. I'm now going to do a new game plus on hardcore difficulty, and then after that a run on the professional difficulty, which is the hardest, so I'm definitely going to be replaying this a few times before I'm done with it. Please let me know in the comments if you are going to purchase this DLC, and more importantly if you have played Resident Evil 4 yet. As always, thanks a lot for watching. Please hit the like button and see you on the next one. Take care.